Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 26. Chapter 26. Chapter 26. The beast tide is coming, Teacher Shushan is dead. In the dream realm on the second floor, after Shu Xiaojia ran a short distance, she stopped and looked back at the hotel in the distance. She is still very grateful to Shu Heng for saving her life. However, she really couldn't bear to leave Shu Heng just like that. Even if she stayed, it was useless, but she couldn't help but look back. Suddenly, she saw a familiar figure walking slowly. Shu Heng. It's actually Shu Heng. She turned back. Just because she was not reconciled, she left so directly. No hope at all, but I didn't expect to see Shu Heng directly. She was very surprised. What about those monsters? They won't come after them. Are you all right? Shall we find a place to hide? Seeing Shu Heng coming over, she hurriedly stepped forward and asked. The monsters, all dead, are safe now, don't worry, Shu Heng replied. All dead. Shu Xiaojia was even more surprised. She thought that Shu Heng took the opportunity to run out, but even so, it was already very good. But unexpectedly, Shu Heng actually killed all the beasts and monsters just now. One person, fight a group of monsters. In an instant, she realized what a terrifying power this must have. You know, the so-called genius Shang Feng took more than 10 minutes to barely injure a monster. Moreover, with her assistance, he was barely injured. In comparison, that Shang Feng was simply weak. It's completely incomparable. That Shang Feng is not necessarily stronger than herself. What about Gui Shangfeng? It's enough to directly assist Shu Heng. Thinking of this, she immediately said, Where are you going now? Let's go together. Thank you so much for saving me just now. I am an auxiliary capable person who can provide you with an increase in attribute power. If you are willing to take me, I can provide you with ability assistance. Hearing her words, Shu Heng was a little surprised. She has been partnering with that Shang Feng, doesn't she hate herself? He thought about it solemnly, and nodded. You can follow me if you want, but you can think about it. Because next, I'm going, the third layer of dreams. Opposite, hearing Shu Heng's decision, Shu Xiaojia was very surprised and a little surprised. The third layer dream world is very dangerous, and you may be killed and eliminated as soon as you enter. Still, she decided to follow Shu Heng. Forget it, stay on the second floor, and I won't practice for a long time. It's better to go and see what the third floor looks like. Let's go. After finishing speaking, Shu Heng took her and started to look for the dream builder, looking for the entrance to the third layer of dreams. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Closed hotel somewhere. Hello, I'm the dream builder, yes. Starting from the third floor, the pressure of dreams will produce qualitative changes. Really sure, are you going to the third floor space? Of course. That's what we're here for. Shu Heng replied firmly that staying on the second floor means nothing to him anymore. If you don't go to the third floor, you might as well go back directly. Very well, since you have decided, then do as I say. Please close your eyes and lie down on the chair next to you. So, Shu Heng followed the dream builder's request. Close your eyes and lie down on the chair. Ellipsis 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 dot. Shu Heng, wake up, stop dreaming. As soon as he closed his eyes, Shu Heng heard someone calling him. He was a little strange, why the dream builder called him just after closing his eyes. Isn't that kidding him? Opening his eyes, he found that he was not a dream builder. But 4 huge clocks. Question mark question mark question mark question mark. Isn't this a hypnotic clock? Am I not training in dream space? How did you get woken up? Shu Heng, get up. He found that standing next to him was actually his leading teacher, Shu Tian. At this time, the teacher's face was worried. Alarm alert. There is a super fierce beast ahead, with super high intensity, king level. Combat troops are ready. Electromagnetic radar. Full power scan. High energy ion cannon, filled with energy, ready to launch at any time. All around, the sound of electronic sirens was incessant, and there were running army personnel everywhere. Run, Shu Heng, the ruins of the dreamland are being impacted by the giant beast tide. 3 king-level beasts have appeared so far, and there may even be a 4th one soon. Even, the army may launch a nuclear fusion bomb and forcibly perish together. At that time, everyone here will not be able to live. We forcibly woke up all the students. If we don't leave, it will be too late. Teacher Shu Tian, looking anxious, pulled Shu Heng up and rushed towards the door. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud noise. Over the dream ruins, a loud noise came. Shu Heng looked up and saw a huge crack appeared on the huge energy shield of the dream relic. Looking along the crack, you can see that outside the crack, 3 huge beasts are constantly attacking the energy shield. On the ground, fierce beasts continued to impact the protective cover. For a time, the entire dream relic became crumbling. Boom! Long, like a thunderclap, above the sky, the loud noise came again. The entire protective cover was completely torn. 3 huge beasts appeared in everyone's sight. Hoo, hoo, hoo. 3 terrifying roars came, and huge sound waves swept the audience. All fell to the ground. I saw Shu Tian, who fell to the ground, with a quasi-king level aura bursting out of his body, resisting the extremely terrifying king level sound waves. He grabbed Shu Heng by the side and threw it towards the gate of the ruins. Shu Heng, run quickly. Don't look back, the voice of the sky came. Boom! Shu Heng's body fell heavily to the ground, and there was a trace of blood on the ground. Then, despite the teacher's objection, he looked back. As a result, a picture that he would never have dared to imagine appeared before his eyes. I saw that the 3 king-level beasts were attracted by the aura of Shushan. 3 roars in unison, Shu Tian was really vomiting blood and fell to the ground. Then, a king-level beast slammed into it. Void, the teacher of the logistics department, was directly trampled to death. Shu Heng, who saw this scene. In an instant, a sense of despair swept through the body. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. Global God Choice. Only I Choose Saiyan Bloodline 27. Chapter 27. Chapter 27. The Third Floor of Terror. Kill the Queen. Shu Tian, a quasi-king level powerhouse, was directly trampled to death by 1 foot. Shu Heng's eyes widened, unable to accept it for a while. However, the crowd of people running around and screaming made him have to believe it. Shu Heng. Suddenly, there was a coquettish shout from the side, and he turned to look. Shu Xiaojia, who originally wanted to enter the 3rd layer dream with him. Run, all 3 monarch-level beasts are here. After trapping them later, the army may launch a nuclear bomb. If they don't run, everyone will die. After speaking, a soft energy enveloped Shu Heng, which was Shu Xiaojia's auxiliary boost. Feeling the relief of the pain in his body, Shu Heng pulled Shu Xiaojia up and ran away from the ruins. Along the way, countless people are running in a panic, and some are classmates they are very familiar with. Help, I don't want to die. I just confessed to her successfully, and I haven't had time to meet. Woo woo woo. My parents also said they would come to see me today, Dad, Mom. All around, there are people fleeing, and there are cries everywhere. From time to time, one by one fierce beasts sprang out, rushing straight towards the crowd. Is this a monster breaking the city? Not only our former students, but also ordinary people dressed as civilians escaped. Why did such a terrifying beast tide suddenly appear? I just inherited the Saiyan bloodline, and I haven't had time to develop. Will it be over? Shu Heng, who was running all the way, was desperate, and the good school suddenly disappeared. However, he knew that now was not the time to think about it. In any case, escape is important. He pulled Shu Xiaojia and kept tossing and turning, avoiding the beasts that might appear at any time. Swipe. Shu Heng and Shu Xiaojia rushed into a forest. Here, the leaves are dense, which is a very good bunker. You can use this place to avoid the attack of the beasts. However, it backfired. When they just rushed into the woods, they found that there were countless alien monsters hidden inside. It is densely packed, all around, and it is estimated that there are hundreds of them. Even when Shu Heng glanced around, he found the alien figure of the queen. Have you entered the monster's lair? Beside her, Shu Xiaojia's slightly trembling voice came. Roar, roar, ellipsis quote. Upon discovering this alien who had suddenly intruded, bursts of roars erupted in the originally peaceful woods. Shu Heng, you go first. Shu Xiaojia looked at Shu Heng and said, take me, you can't run fast. Separate, maybe one can run. Last time, you saved me, this time, you go first. However, Shu Heng did not respond to her, but walked slowly in front of her and turned his head to look at her, give me a boost. Then, turning his head and looking forward, a majestic aura slowly released from him. This is the first time Shu Heng has released his full strength in front of outsiders. Roar. While they were talking, a monster dashed forward with a bloody mouth, tearing up everything it bit into. He punched out. The terrifying power made the air in front of him really whimper. Boom. Like the sound of steel colliding, the iron fist collided with the monster. The skull of the alien monster was directly penetrated. One hit works. However, the alien beasts won't fight you alone. In the battlefield, in all directions, one monster after another, dashed forward one after another, jumped high, and then slammed into the two of them. About 2 or 3 meters above Shu Heng, Shu Xiaojia stands in the air, that is flying technique. A thick light radiated from her body, connecting with Shu Heng, providing him with an increase in strength attributes. Bang 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 bang. The sound of fist bones intersecting kept coming. Around, the corpses of alien monsters kept increasing. Ho ho ho. 3 huge roars suddenly came from 3 different directions. Mutant Alien Queen. The 3 alien queens, from 3 different directions, rushed at the same time, giving Shu Heng no room to retreat. Constantly fighting, there seems to be no end to it. Gradually, Shu Heng's physical strength continued to be consumed, the injuries on his body began to increase, and the pain continued to intensify. In the air, Shu Xiaojia, with a pale complexion, continued to increase her strength, which was a huge drain on her. However, she still hasn't disconnected from the boosted light on Shu Heng. At the same time, she folded her hands together, and the light bloomed in her hands, as if she was holding a ball of light. Shu Heng, this is for you. Suddenly, Shu Xiaojia in the air shouted, and a green ball of light flew towards Shu Heng on the ground. Then, Shu Xiaojia in the air trembled slightly. With a bang, it fell to the ground. The boosted light connected to Shu Heng also disappeared at this moment. Shu Heng caught the ball of light with his hand and looked at it with a determined look. A green ball of light, the size of a ping-pong ball, appeared in his hand. This is immortal beans. No, it's something similar to immortal beans, this is a pure energy body. Shu Heng was slightly surprised, and turned to look at Shu Xiaojia who had fallen. Eat it quickly, this won't last long. Over time, the energy will gradually dissipate, and it will be useless by then, came Shu Xiaojia's weak voice. Without any hesitation, Shu Heng swallowed the energy ball in one gulp. Immediately, a gentle force spread out in his body, and he felt that the injury on his body seemed to be gradually recovering. However, this is not the real original fairy beans after all. The effect is limited, it can only restore physical strength and has a weak healing effect. I don't know how long it took, and the sky started to get darker. On the ground, Shu Heng leaned back against the tree and slumped beside Shu Xiaojia. Around them, there were piles of monster corpses. Among them, there are 3 alien queens. Farther away, there are still alien monsters rushing towards here. Beside the big tree, Shu Heng felt a blur of consciousness, and his body collapsed a little. Is it gone? This time, it's no longer a dream. Shu Heng, recalling the scene where teacher Shu Tian was trampled to death just now. The ruins are broken, the teacher is also dead. This time, am I going to die too? Did the Saiyan bloodline die before it had time to develop? A deep sense of fatigue poured into Shu Heng's mind. In his body, Saiyan's bloodline played a role again. That strange energy kept telling Shu Heng to persevere and persevere. Boom. Suddenly, a sound of falling objects sounded. Shu Heng took a look. Question mark question mark question mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. Totem. Euro totem. Isn't this something in dream space? How can it appear in the real world? Or, here, is it a dream, or a dream, everything, or fake? Thinking of this, he stretched out his slightly trembling hand and twisted the top with all his strength. Immediately, something that violated the laws of physics appeared. The top seemed to spin faster and faster, without stopping. Fake, still fake. I wasn't woken up, and the ruins weren't breached. Teacher, I didn't actually die. It's all fantasy. The wound is also fake. Give me all the recovery. Then, a strange energy came, and Shu Heng's wounds were healing rapidly. Consciousness returned quickly. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. At this moment, outside the ruins, the crowd of teachers and students standing in front of the screen looked at the data on the screen. Continuous bursts of amazement. Queen, a queen beast has been killed. Is this a new student entering the third floor? It's incredible. Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 28. Chapter 28. Chapter 28. This year's freshman, so perverted. Outside the ruins, new data appeared on the huge display at this moment. In addition to the original kill count ranking, a separate column has appeared showing the alien queen's kill count. Which department of the school is this from? There were no such perverted students in the past. Should be we, from the martial arts department. He wasn't quite sure. After all, he couldn't think of any freshman in the martial arts department who could be so powerful. Chief, our troops, even well-trained stormtroopers, would be hard-pressed to get such a high kill count. Among the crowd in front of the screen, exclamations erupted continuously. Hurry up and call your name. Look at the people who haven't come back yet. Then someone answered, Teacher, basically everyone has returned. Only Shu Heng of the logistics department and Shu Xiaojia of the martial arts department are left. The sound fell, the scene was dead silent, and then, an unprecedented vibration broke out. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Within the ruins, Shu Heng stood quietly on the ground. The majestic energy in his body made him excited, and around him, the number of alien corpses increased again. In the distance, there are no longer running alien monsters. All monsters, all dead. There was silence in the woods. Next to Shu Heng, the girl looked at the corpses all over the ground with a shocked expression. She looked at Shu Heng in shock. Why, your injury seems to have healed suddenly, and your whole body has strength. In her perception, the Shu Heng at the moment had a majestic aura, and it didn't look like someone who was seriously injured and dying at all. Because, it's all fake. We weren't really hurt. Shu Heng turned his head and looked at Shu Xiaojia. We haven't woken up yet, we're still in a dream. The teacher is fake, the ruins are fake, the monster is fake, and the world is fake. Really, Shu Xiaojia's eyes lit up, the teachers are not dead. The beast tide is also fake. But your injury. With my current strength, energy crystals don't have such a big effect. Shu Xiaojia was full of doubts. Although her bloodline talent is very high, she is still just a freshman after all. With the crystallization of her current strength, it is impossible to fully recover all Shu Heng's injuries. Shu Heng smiled mysteriously, and then he said, in this dream, as long as you have a firm will, you can change the dream. If you firmly believe that the injury can be recovered, then your wound will be healed very quickly. Hehe, this is the secret usage of dreams. Remember, you must believe firmly, don't doubt it, it will not work, you can try. Hearing Shu Heng's words, Shu Xiaojia was skeptical. Then, his expression became firm. Yes, this is fake. Ruins can't be that fragile. My injury will definitely recover. After speaking, Shu Xiaojia was surprised to find that the severe pain in her body began to dissipate, and after a while, the wound actually healed. She looked at Shu Heng in shock. Wow. Really, I have power again now. The pain is gone too. How did you discover this secret? Feeling the mysterious power, Shu Xiaojia shouted excitedly. Is this the third layer of dreams? It's too real. The scenes of teachers, classmates, and relics are all the same as in memory. Shu Xiaojia said excitedly. Suddenly, she stopped and looked at Shu Heng. Next, where are we going? You still have to go to the fourth floor, don't you? Without speaking, Shu Heng just nodded slightly. Seeing Shu Heng's affirmation, Shu Xiaojia didn't seem too surprised. Then, I won't go. She knew that with her strength, it was very reluctant to come to the third floor. She didn't recognize this dream at all just now, and was always lost. In battle, it basically didn't play any role. That little increase in strength attribute probably doesn't have any effect on Xu Hang. After all, she had also boosted Shang Feng before, and it was very difficult to fight an ordinary alien monster. And Xu Hang can deal with so many monster groups, obviously, his own strength plays a decisive role. The third floor is so terrifying, and it doesn't make much sense to go to the fourth floor. Thinking of this, she looked up at Xu Hang and said softly, "Then you have to be careful. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis." After quickly finding the dream builder, Xu Hang directly entered the fourth floor of the dream. Crack. As soon as he entered the fourth floor, Xu Hang felt that his arm was bitten fiercely, and the severe pain spread all over his body. Maybe it was the first, second, and third floors, all of which were strengthened too much. This time, it did not sink directly. Instead, all consciousness suddenly became clear. Only. Different from the previous layers, the entire fourth layer is full of alien queens, densely packed, countless. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. The fourth floor dream space, not far from where Xu Hang is. A figure walked in the air, exuding a powerful aura. King-level powerhouse. Around him, countless alien monsters scurried on the ground. And above the sky, there are hundreds of alien monsters flying. That is, above the queen. Alien full body. The ultimate alien. Suddenly, the strong man walking in the sky felt a wave of space. "Didn't you say that today is a freshman's experience? How come you came to the fourth floor, and you haven't died yet?" He felt very strange. Then, I was about to fly over to see what was going on. However, he just acted. Hundreds of ultimate aliens roared in unison, swarming up and surrounding him. He had no choice but to keep fighting. In the gap between the battle, he turned to look at the place where the space fluctuated just now. Suddenly, he discovered that an alien queen was directly torn in half by Xu Hang. He was instantly shocked. This year's freshman, so perverted. Not only can you come to the fourth floor, but you can also single-handedly kill the alien queen. Could it be that something incredible happened at the newborn fitting ceremony? Even if it fits Piccolo Daimao, it's absolutely impossible to do this in such a short period of training, right? Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 29. Chapter 29. Chapter 29. The perverted freshman, who is it? In the sky, the figure walking in the sky is full of shock at this moment. You know, as a king-level powerhouse, he barely entered the third floor space when he was a freshman. Moreover, he had been in a lost state at that time, and it didn't take long for him to collapse emotionally, and being teleported would become reality. According to my father, as a general, he has guarded the Dreamland ruins for so many years, and he has never seen a freshman go directly to the fourth floor. Back then, as a freshman, after he entered the third floor, he was praised by his father. It was a good time for him. Unexpectedly, he personally witnessed a more terrifying junior and came directly to the fourth floor. He also singled out the alien queen to death. Not only that, in his perception, the new breath seems to be getting stronger and stronger, increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Suddenly, he exclaimed again. Damn it, he ran away. How did he find the alien's weakness? After finishing speaking, he imitated Xu Hang and got rid of the alien siege. Then he hurriedly flew in the direction of Xu Hang. He was very curious as to which freshman was so powerful. Wouldn't it be perfect to recruit into the military, if possible? After flying for a while, he finally saw Xu Hang's figure. That is, the Dream Builder. The fifth floor Dream Builder. Is he going to run to the fifth floor? He was very shocked. The fifth floor was very dangerous. As a king, he didn't dare to enter. Just when he was about to stop Xu Hang's figure disappeared directly. He really went to the fifth floor. Crazy. Ellipsis 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 dot. Outside the ruins, on the screen, the numbers of other rankings have dimmed and stopped refreshing. Only the first two numbers are lit, and the number of beasts killed in the first place is still increasing. And they just got the news that someone has entered the fourth layer dream space. At this time, everyone in front of the screen was already numb. They were silent for a while, watching the numbers on the screen refresh like water. How do I feel? This alien queen, to him, is like chopping melons and vegetables. This queen can't be fake. Or I think there is something wrong with the display screen. It's broken. How can it refresh so fast? Many people began to doubt the authenticity of the data. Behind the crowd, several leaders of the army are also paying attention here. Chief, the general's son seems to be on the 4th floor today. It's not that he helped kill it. No, he's not a freshman. Even if he helps kill him, he won't be able to show it. And, the most important thing is that the character is arrogant and cold, and he won't take care of the freshman at all, let alone kill him directly. Several officers in military green uniforms were discussing with each other. Such a good seedling, recruiting into the army must make a big difference. That's right, it's best to get in touch with their teachers and get to know them. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Auxiliary power users can actually get the first place in the kill list. As expected of an extraordinary bloodline, the reputation is well deserved. This should be the successor of the strongest immortal Kalen in history. Enough to go down in history. As long as it is cultivated well, over time, it will surely become a super genius that will make a sensation in the world. Where the logistics department is located, the leading teacher, Shu Tian, was in a turbulent mood, and his clenched hands trembled slightly. How many years? I haven't seen such a genius in my logistics department for many years. Although it's not the first, but the number of kills in the second place is far more than before. How many years? My logistics department is finally going to be proud. Shu Tian muttered to himself. In his opinion, the first place must be the super talented little girl. However, it is also very good to have the second place. Shu Tian, your logistics department has produced a good genius this time. Other teachers congratulated Shushan. At the same time, troops wearing army green also came over. Comrade Shu Tian, congratulations to you for achieving such good results in this freshman training. I wonder what the character of this student Shu Heng is. After graduation, are you willing to consider our army? If he is willing to come to our army, we are willing to invite a king-level strong person to teach him one-on-one, and even provide more and richer resources. Suddenly, the audience fell silent. Ask the king-level powerhouse to teach in person. What a generous condition. Just when everyone was deeply shocked by the results of this freshman, suddenly another voice came. Look, a new student has entered the 4th floor. I saw that on the display. The data was refreshed again. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. Number of new students in the dream space, 672. Level 1, 569. Second floor, 101. Tier 3, 1. 4th floor, 1. As for the 5th floor, because it is too special, no new students have ever been there over the years, so it is not displayed on it at all. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. The number of people on the 4th floor has changed from 0 to 1. In an instant, the people who were originally quiet. The audience was sensational. Damn, is this really a newborn? The martial arts department has made a lot of money this time. It actually caught a super genius. With such a strong talent, it is estimated that it will not be long before you can become a martial arts master. In the future, there is a high chance of rushing in, extraordinary king level. In the period of not seeking a new life, I will be content if I can enter the 4th floor and massacre once in my life. The teacher in charge of the martial arts department looked excited. The depressing feeling that was caused by Shang Fang's elimination has completely dissipated at this moment. Oh, no way, we also want to keep a low profile. But strength doesn't allow it. Suddenly, when everyone on the scene was discussing heatedly, the data for the second place on the screen changes from light to gray. The door of the ruins opened, and a figure came out. Everyone hurriedly looked at them and was very curious as to who was eliminated. It should be Shu Heng, everyone thought. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Global God Choice. Only I Choose Saiyan Bloodline 30. Chapter 30. Chapter 30. Never Crossed. Shu Hang. Shu Hang. In the darkness, Shu Hang felt that someone was calling him again, and a sense of irritability poured out of Shu Hang's heart. He got up and shouted. Isn't it annoying? It's the same routine again. Don't think I don't know it's fake. Like the third layer dream, it's fake. Don't try to lie to me again. Then he suddenly opened his eyes. I found myself lying on a hospital bed, sitting alone in front of the bed. He took a closer look, and his face changed dramatically. A voice came out of his mouth involuntarily, Mom. The person in front of him is the person he engraved in his soul, his biological mother. To be more precise, it was his mother on Earth before he crossed. The people in front of him were overjoyed when they heard his cry. Shu Hang, you finally woke up. You've been in a coma for days. You've been in a coma for 3 months, and every day you're calling out the martial arts department, Saiyan, relics, beasts, monsters, you're having a nightmare. Listening to the words of the figure in front of him, Shu Hang was silent for a while. Fake, no martial arts department, no back office, no Nanshan University. Also, nothing Saiyan, everything, but a dream after my coma. Is this the real world? I have never crossed. I've never been the chosen one. A series of questions rose in his heart, and his face was extremely confused. Then, he looked up at the person in front of the bed and asked, why am I in a coma? Ah, because we were bombed. Did you forget? The World War started 8 years ago. Shu Hang, you won't lose your memory, don't you scare Mom. Bombs, why bombs? Shu Hang was confused. Then, Shu Hang got up, walked to the window, and looked out. He was in the 10th floor ward of a hospital. Outside the window of the ward, as far as I can see, there is a ruin. It was charred everywhere, the buildings were riddled with holes, and some were still smoking thick black smoke. Did I lose my memory? Or is that so? Is this the real world? When you were in a coma, you would say something Saiyan every day. Wouldn't it be a nightmare, dreaming of that monster named Saiyan? Behind me, my mother's voice came. However, upon hearing this, Shu Hang's face froze suddenly. He turned his head and asked, you don't know Saiyan? Shu Hang's heart was violently tumbling. When he was a child, his mother would often accompany him to watch various cartoons. The famous anime, Dragon Ball, he watched it with his mother, I don't know how many times. How could one not know what a Saiyan is? A sharp suspicion began in his heart. What are you talking about? Came the mother's confused voice. In an instant, Shu Hang is sure. It's fake again. The person in front of you is not fucking. There's no way he didn't know Saiyan. This world is fake. He is still in the dream space. Just die and wake up from the dream space. Then he climbed to the windowsill. Shu Hang, what are you doing? Don't think about it. Your dad had a concussion and stopped breathing yesterday. If anything happens to you, I really can't live. An anxious voice came from behind. However, Shu Hang did not hesitate. From the windowsill, jumped down. All this is just a means to confuse people in the dream space. Don't try to trap me. As long as I die, I can get out, he thought to himself. With a bang, Shu Hang fell to the ground and fell into a puddle of flesh. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Shu Hang, Shu Hang. It was dark all around, and Shu Hang heard a familiar voice again. When I opened my eyes, it was the familiar figure again. In this dream, this is his mom. What happened? Why didn't he wake up after he died and didn't appear outside the dream ruins? However, although he did not escape from the dream space, he knew with great certainty that it was fake. This man is fake. A thought flashed through Shu Hang's mind, and then he ran to the windowsill again and jumped off. With a bang, fell to death. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Shu Hang, Shu Hang. It was the voice calling him again. Immediately, he repeated the same action. He ran to the windowsill and jumped down. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Again and again. I don't know how many times I jumped. He never escaped from this world. Every time I wake up, it's the same scene, the same person in front of the bed, saying the same thing. Bang, woke up after jumping off the building again. Shu Heng was standing in front of the window, behind him was that familiar figure and that familiar voice. How can we escape this world? Every time I jump off a building, I come back here. However, he found one thing, that every time he wakes up, his own strength will become stronger, his consciousness will become clearer, and his willpower will increase sharply. This is the power of Saiyan's bloodline. As long as you don't die, you will become stronger every time you wake up. Sure enough, this world is fake, otherwise how could I have Saiyan's power? And after jumping so many times, he found that every time he jumped off the building, he could jump farther than the previous one. His own strength has reached an extremely terrifying level. Do not care. This place is like a bug, it is a super treasure. Boom! Shu Heng jumped down the stairs again and landed on the ground. However, this time, he did not fall to his death. It just hit the ground hard, creating a huge pit, and cracks like spider webs spread around. Not dead. It seems that suicide is impossible to get out. Shu Heng looked around. He didn't choose suicide anymore. He walked forward slowly. Ignoring the surrounding scene, he moved forward in a certain direction. Suddenly, he noticed that the scene around him had changed. In front of him, it was no longer a city, but a barren wasteland. He turned around, his eyes narrowed sharply. It turns out that the so-called city is just a few small buildings. What he saw was not an endless high-rise building, but a so-called city formed by a few scattered small buildings. Just like a few small oases that exist sporadically in a huge desert. Desolation is the truth of the world. He continued to walk forward. Go, don't know how long. Suddenly, he found that there seemed to be this hut in the distance. I vaguely heard a few whispers. Where did the kid come from? He came to die again, etc. How did he get into the nth floor? But he couldn't hear it either. So he decided to get closer to see what it was. Roll. Suddenly, a loud noise exploded like thunder, as if the sky and the earth were roaring at the same time. Immediately afterwards, his eyes darkened. When he opened his eyes again, his mother was no longer in front of him, but a giant clock. Isn't this a hypnotic clock? Shu Heng thought silently in his heart. Wow, you're finally awake. Suddenly, a shocking and surprising voice came from beside him. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis.